When advising clients as to what their fundamental approach should be when preparing a program for the receipt of cross-border complaints and suspicions regarding fraud in their operations, there are a number of factors that have to be considered. Firstly, cross-border investigations could be triggered from multiple foreign countries or from a single foreign country, and it could spread into multiple foreign countries, and the complaints could vary in nature and extent. Very often they'll be in a variety of languages, they could come through different reporting channels and any time around the clock. Most investigation issues are still reported by insiders via hotlines or a whistleblowing facility, and less so by outsiders or by regulatory authorities or internal audit findings. When it comes to intake procedures, that is the process that gets followed in receipt of an allegation of an investigations issue in another country, the client needs to prepare for a number of issues. One is you need a global mindset, and secondly, you need to appreciate the diverse cultural differences. The initial reaction by a client will often determine the quality and the professionalism with which the investigation can be performed. There are a number of differences between domestic investigations and cross-border investigations. And the most important one is most probably the cultural differences across countries and how they play out in behaviors, the way people communicate, corporate personalities and values. Then there's obviously language and its nuances and complexities. There's the nature and source of information, how it can be stored, how it can be accessed, and a range of legal considerations, from the substantive law that dictates who you can speak to, what information can you access, to procedural differences, to behavioral differences, to labor law differences, to data privacy and data handling issues, and many more. What to do when receiving notice of a cross-border investigation will depend on a number of factors. And you need to take the time, the client needs to take the time to assess the issues of confidentiality and privacy, how to maintain the credibility of their response, how to ensure the integrity of the investigation, and how to deal with the reputation of the organization and people possibly involved. So there are a number of things that have to be done. Firstly, understand the factual issues. Secondly, as far as possible, try and pinpoint the geography from which the allegation emanates. Evaluate the applicable laws and policies. Gauge whether this could possibly be pervasive across the organization. Try and get a sense as to how credible is this allegation. And then identify the policies, laws, norms and culture that's going to have an impact, what skills you need, what professions you need to be representative on your team. Draft a preliminary budget and timetable. Decide how you're going to communicate with a complainant, and assemble a team that, most importantly, can deal with the local issues and the language issues. So it's a complex situation with many things to consider, but it is very distinct from a domestic investigation.